Okay, let's go back on the daily time frame. So what I was really saying is looking at the dollar currency, the last area of manipulation was around this region. We broke the market structure over here. We had some sort of correctional move inside this very area, and then price just dumped, right? And from here, we found the support around this region. I don't want to go into detail on what's on the left-hand side. Clearly, you can see this area, building up lots of liquidity, support area, support and resistance time. Traders are also seeing those areas as reversal areas. Smart money will never give you that option, and hence why it is very, very clear that the intention on the dollar currency is looking very, very bearish. Probably a little reaction around this region, retracement, and then continuation straight down. We're going to splash through this very low. And that's what I personally see. I don't, if you ask me what's going to happen with the week coming ahead right now, based on the daily time frame, I can't really see any direction until I move down to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour time frame, I have some sort of breaker block setup sitting right here. A low, a high, a low, a low. We swept the liquidity around this area and broke the market structure. And this was the last buy candle before that move downwards and the rally up. So that becomes a breaker block zone. We could expect the dollar currency when the market open to quickly, probably. I won't be surprised if we have a gap. We gap probably straight into around this area, and then from here we can head towards up a little bit for some sort of correction, because looking around this area, equal high sitting up here, equal high sitting up here, probably some sort of correctional move, just a quick one. Can't say even this one is probably liquidity, and probably come up around this region, then we can start falling. However, I am only marking out the liquidity areas just to make you aware of the potential of what could happen if we get a rejection around this area. This is very, very, very temporal. Very, very temporal. And the reason why I'm saying very, very temporal is because the direction we have on the dollar currency at the minute is very, very bearish. Looking at the bigger picture, I don't want you to confuse the fact that you saw a break of market structure here. Price came down, reacted up this region, went higher, and now we're coming down. So you're looking to maintain that bullish idea. No, we can't maintain that. If we had broken above this region, then I see no return on the dollar currency. Probably the dollar is just going to start shooting up very, very taken fast. But at the minute, I am still going to hold on to the basis, probably see price. Possibly, we can say this is some sort of liquidity run around this region. In order for me to see some sort of reversal around this region, I want to see some sort of consolidation, probably most of the night. Consolidation around this region. Um, a nice consolidation around that region. A breakout to the downside and maybe a fly up. Then we can attack this high, that high, and probably start reversing. That is if price is really going to reverse after sweeping this liquidity. If I do not see that setup happening, a consolidation, a sweep of liquidity, and a run up, that means I am going to expect the dollar currency to continue downwards. Probably the only area I want to see some bullish reaction is between 90.424 and then 90.044. Then we can see some sort of rallying up and then back down again. That is what the perspective I have on the dollar at the minute. I am going to go through some few indices as well to give you idea of what is really going on. So from the dollar, I am going to look at the Euro USD because I've seen lots of people targeting Euro sales. Let's check on the Euro index. How is it called? EX. Where is it? So looking at the Euro currency index, Euro did a quick breakout above this region, leaving liquidity. Right, we left a big gap around this area, and I don't know if it's really going to go back and do some sort of filling. Right, should in case we have any sort of selling pressure on the Euro, this is the maximum field. I would want to see probably the 50% of this region. I'd want to see Euro tap around this region and then continue higher. I don't want to expect it stopping anywhere around this area. This will be a liquidity to target, and that would be a liquidity to target. So Euro on its own is looking very, very bullish at the minute. Clearly bullish at the minute. The only thing we can say about it is if we break around this area and break this low, if we break this imbalance area and break this low, then we can confirm we've had a good reaction around this area. Remember, there is a clean gap around this region. We could be attacking this area. If we see a good reaction around this area for euros, then yeah, we can start selling some sort of euros. I was looking to sell Euro GBP last week. That reaction I had on Friday in the New York session has invalidated my sell, and I'm no more going to start thinking about sales anymore. I am positively going to start looking for buy opportunities, probably to reach into this area and possibly there and there. That's perspective I have on Euro. On the other side of the game, BXY, which is GBP, GBP currency. On the other hand of the game is looking very, very bearish. What's going on? Right, so I could possibly see DXY do some sort of SMS around this area. If you're in the core and you're wondering what SMS is, all I'm trying to say is field swing, right? A high, a low, a high, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and then we refuse to form a lower low, so this becomes a higher low, and then we broke above it, so automatically we have some sort of failed swing around that region, and this is our last buy candle, sorry, sell candle before the up move. So we could see the GBP give us some sort of reaction around this region and then have a very strong pound currency for the rest of the week. This is what we could expect most of the pound pairs to start doing. A little bit of a drawdown to the downside, give us a bit of a bearish movement. And then from there, we can see a big explosive move to the upside. It's just natural because the GBP currency has given us a failed swing around this region, and looking critically, we did manipulate the market around this region, swept liquidity before the up move. This was the last sell candle before the break of market structure. So now we can clearly see price giving us some sort of reaction around this area after filling the fair value gap around that region. However, this is the last, what do you call it, sell to buy candle. We could expect price to do a bit of a drawdown, drop down around this region before the push up. With our first target being this high of the week, last week, and our second target around these regions. Don't expect it to be so explosive. It is going to take time, probably up, down, and then up. Once we break above this region, we do a bit of a correctional move and then continue to the upside. And that's the perspective we have on the pound currency. Is it looking a little bit downwards compared to euro? Hence what I'm saying, I'm not going to be selling euro GBP anymore, just based on the currencies. I'm not going to be selling euro GBP. I'll still look for the perspective of probably buying it for some time now. Okay, so now that I'm done with all the currency pairs, the indices. Why do I say indices? Indexes. Can I have any suggestion what pairs you want me to look at? And then I'll take it one after the other from there. Yeah, so in the chat box, any pair you're interested in me having a look at it for you, just post in the chat box and I'll start running through them bit by bit. But before I leave, feel free, if you want to take a screenshot of the perspective I have so far, feel free to do so. I've done, this is the British pound. I'm gonna allow some few seconds and then I'll move from here. EXY, which is the euro currency. So sort of a little bit of a sell around this area. And then we shall continue to the upside. With this area being our first area, we can see some sort of reversal, possibly around this area and then there. So you have target 1, target 2, target 3. These are our points of interest. When we fill this area, I want to see a reversal, possibly. If it doesn't happen, I want to run this high as a liquidity run and then start giving us a little bit of a sell and then continue to the upside. And for the DXY, very popular, baby. I did say I want to see if price is really going to reverse around this area. I want to see consolidation in this region for some time, price to consolidate, and then sweep tap liquidity out before it ramps up. If we do not see that and we see a very strong bearish push to the downside, the only area I want to see price give me some sort of reaction is inside this range. On the 4-hour time frame, it is what we call a bullish breaker block, a bullish breaker block. So around this region, I would see price to give me some sort of reaction to the upside. And from there, we can see the dollar currency fall back down. So our perspective on the dollar currency is very bearish ahead of this week. Now that I'm done with all this noise making, I am going to go through the chat box and look at the pairs that people are asking. So GBP USD is the first on the list. I am going to have a look at GBP USD. Okay, so the perspective we have on GBP USD, once again, I want to be a little bit very, very critical around this region. So I'm going to zoom in to see. We did have a rundown of liquidity around this region, right? Which is lining up with the perspective that we saw on the GBP currency, right? And once again, I did say on the GBP, you want to see GBP drop a little bit down. And what's the perspective that we're having for dropping down? A weekly low, right? What is a weekly low? A weekly low is our sell side previous weekly low. Is our sell side liquidity. All right. So that's just the perspective they have really for coming down around this area. This was the last equal high where they took out all the buyers. Sorry, where they took out all the sellers to go higher. Right, so they could visit around this region once again and then head to the upside based on what I'm seeing on 4-hour time frame. And that's the reason why the GBP index was showing a clear, some sort of a sell pressure before the up move. So let's be aware once again, around this region, let's go on the 2-hour time frame. This is a clear point of interest. Why? Because it was the last sell area before the break of the structure. And this is also a clear point of interest, the last area of manipulation before the up move. All right. So we could be looking around this region as our point of interest and also this area. However, we can't favor this area. And the reason is just simple. The reason is the fact that we have a weekly low sitting right here. We could come down, run the low a little bit deep down. Let me see how many pips is that. Okay, 58 pips for GBP is quite doable. However, if that should not happen, we know what sort of setup we have around this region. We could see some sort of breaker setup. I'm trying to digest it a little bit. Sorry, guys. Let's go on the exactly. So that region is quite right. You could see price give us some sort of reaction around this region and then head up. That is the only area I could see as a breaker. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure, guys. So between 1.37657 and 1.37584 area, we could see GBP drop down around that area and start rallying up. Yeah, let's start rallying up. So that's the perspective we're gonna have on GBP USD. Let's look at possibly how we can get a sell to the downside. Lots of liquidity on and around this area. Personally, if you ask me, where could you possibly be looking for a sell? If price give us a rallying up ahead of the week started, I'll probably be waiting for a sell around the 50% of this area. After we run this liquidity. Or my next area where I'll start looking for a sell is after we run this high. Just based on the fact that it is the previous daily high. Yeah, previous daily high. We could run this high into this very retracement around this region. Probably fill this gap and then start heading down. All I want to say is that, guys, I don't want to give you exact areas, but I want to give you the models you can expect in order to get a sell. If you want to sell price, this is the models you want to see. You want to see price consolidate, run up, break structure. If it retraces back, you can take a sell down. If it doesn't and you see a clear move, just execute. Execute or wait for consolidation, a bit of consolidation, and sell it. Simple as that. These are some modules you want to get used to. You see price playing around this area. We run the high, play around that high a little bit, run it up a little bit, drop down, break market structure. It is your opportunity to sell. The key thing is you need to see the sell modules and then the buy modules. The buy module is usually around some sort of consolidation, just like that. Run the low, break market structure, return and then give you that. All the time you see this sort of movement, right? This sideway movement, and that is what you need to be seeing. You need to get used to. Around your liquidity areas, these are the sort of things you are observing, trying to see. As price was approaching my liquidity area, was it starting to show me some sort of liquidity or some sort of how do I say, consolidation prior to approaching my liquidity area? That is how you're going to know that, okay, if price run this liquidity, then I'm gonna try and execute a sell and probably put a stop loss about 15 pips and see what happens. Then you know that you have a sell module. You don't sell blindly because you saw a daily high or a weekly low or whatever liquidity that you're observing. Am I making some sense, guys? Can I have a 3 in the chat box if I'm making sense, please? Okay, so now we have our critical areas. Possibly we can start looking for what GBP can do. Just a quick run about this area or into this region. So I would say around this area, we're going to have this region as our point of interest, and just above this area, inside the 50% of this as our point of interest. We run the high straight up onto that region. Don't make the mistake of keeping your stop loss around this area, because once price give you a clear bullish price action around this area and start flying through, we're going to take this out and reach into that one. Hence why I've given you both areas, right, to pay attention to. And once we run those areas, the next thing is just for the sell. This is our main target for the whole week. Whatever reversal we get from the upside, this will be a weekly reversal to the downside where we can take price all the way down. If we get this movement, this will be our weekly reversal to take price all the way up. So I've given you both sides of the game. Okay, so the next pair on the list, gold. Wow, I haven't looked at gold in a long time. Say USD. Okay, so let's not talk about this area, but yeah, this was the buy that I took on gold. For some of you, I think you knew about this buy that I did, and some of you don't at all. But yeah, the perspective on gold was so clear for this particular buy. However, we've left lots of liquidity around this area, and then the next attempt for gold to fall is going to be very, very crucial. Looking at price action around this region, you can see a clear break of market structure to the upside. We run this high. And then we formed a nice sell module around this area. What do I mean by that? We run the liquidity above this region, right? And started broken down nicely. Based on the 4-hour time frame, you can see a clear breakdown of this particular area. So at the minute, our strong high is around this region. This becomes the strongest area we can look at on the 4-hour time frame. If we break above this area, we are going to continue bullish. So all you have to do is look for bullish point of interest and then keep buying. However, until that, this is the area we're looking at on the 4-hour, the 50% of this particular candle to around this area for a sell. And why am I calling that area? The reason why is because we ran this high last week. Right? Let's go down to the 45 minutes time frame. You may be asking, Francis, why do you always know what time frames to be going for to look for entries? You get used to it as time goes on. Whatever picture you see on a higher time frame will give you what time frame you should see. So don't worry about that now. Looking at the perspective around this region, we did a rally up, swept out liquidity. This was an internal liquidity also. We took it off. Now we've broken a clear market structure around this area. Right? If you ask me, are you going to be looking for any sort of buy around this region? This was the last area manipulation happened and price just rallied up. If I look around this area as a harmonics trader, this is what I call a back pattern, right? So I could see gold clear this low right here as the first target for a sell ahead of the week that we are in. I see gold possibly clear that particular sell. Looking around this area also, we have what we call a breaker block setup. So I want to dive a little bit deeper around this area and see the last buy candle and potentially come up with a way of taking an entry for a sell ahead of the week that we're going to be in. The reason why I'm looking for the sell is the perspective is quite clear as to what we did on Friday. We ran the high around this region, took liquidity, broke market structure. Let's go down a little bit more. I think the 15 minutes. We run that high nicely. We saw price drop. This was a structure we're looking at around this area. I think this was on Friday also. When was the 22nd? Yeah, Friday. Broke structure, came back into the last buy candle before the break. Buy candle before the break of market structure. We saw price melt down quite nicely. From there, so this became the last area of manipulation, right? And we came back to wipe out that same area where price reacted from. So inside this particular wick that did the business is exactly where we came back again and we took them out. Right? Whoever entered from this particular sell price came back down, took you out, and then mailed down nicely. Right? So gold did a very, very nice business on Friday. Attempted taking a lot of people out, including smart money traders. Right? So that was a clean setup that took you out. Lots of people out. But remember, there was a fair value gap around this region. Fair value gap around that region. Price went straight into it and then mailed down nicely. So we have this area to worry about now. We have a break of market structure. The last buy before the break of market structure is around this region. And if we pull our fib from up to low, it's right there inside the optimum trade entry area, 62%, very, very key. We could see price around this low, run this low, which I would be happy to see. After this low run, I'll start looking for a buy module to get price back into around this area. And if that happens, as soon as possible, then we can see this area as being our midweek reversal. If not, then we can see price rally up and turn down, and then we can have possibly go doing a lot of business. If you come back, we've come up here, then we'll take this liquidity out, and shoot this liquidity out into this gaps around this region. Are we good on gold, guys? Are we good on gold? I was supposed to identify something, but I didn't do it. Nobody reminded me. All right. You see this very area lining up with also our breaker block around that region, right? That was what I was looking for. I wanted 50% of the breaker block to be our point of interest. So that 50% becomes our possible entry area right there. And that lines up perfectly with the 45-minute, was it 15 minutes or 45? I think it was 10. Let me have a look. Yeah, 10 minutes order block, right? Our breaker block lining up with another block. That is very, very solid area. So around this region, we can start possibly seeing price consolidate, run quickly into that area, and then give us a drop again. Okay, the next one on the list is UK 100. And I know who is asking for UK 100. I haven't looked at this in a long time, so I am gonna go a lot deeper into it. Let's look at what the weekly time frame gives us. So based on the weekly time frame, whenever we run a low of a previous week, we run higher. We run a low, we run higher. We run a low, we run higher, right? Same story around this region. So now if you ask me, for instance, where would you be looking for your entries? My entries is inside this particular week. Okay, so now let's go on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, once again, we run liquidity around this region. So now I can minimize my entry into this particular week. Now let's go on the 4-hour. Can't see anything on the 4-hour. Let's go on the 2-hour. Not much. Prices at the minute in the range. We wiped up liquidity. We wiped up liquidity up here for all the buyers who were trying to buy the breakout of this particular area, and our price is heading down. 1-hour time frame. You can see clearly there was a range around this region. Here is liquidity. Here is a point of interest to look up to. Let's go on to 45. Let's go on to 30. We run liquidity here. Broke market structure there. This is some sort of what we call a breaker block setup. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this one. Okay, let's get rid of that. This becomes our area of interest. If we've mitigated that already, then I don't expect price to come back down. Run it. Came back into it again and price left. So we have nothing to do around this region. We're done. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the price action that happened around this area. Okay, so we have a fair value gap around this area. And this is some sort of a breaker block setup. Let's dive into the 1 minute time frame. You're giving me a lot of work on this UK 100. Okay. Which lines up almost with the 50% of this particular 45 minutes institutional candlestick. Yes, perfectly. So for UK 100, we've run up the highs. There is lots of liquidity upside around this region. There is equal high around this area. The sky is always the limit for indices. So we've got liquidity sitting up here. We've just taken this one. Probably I would expect price to run this low nicely into this institutional candlestick. The point of interest can be 2. You can take your entry 1 here with the stop loss still below this area, entry 2 down there with the stop loss below that area. Run this lows and then we can run quickly up again, covering all these liquidity voids. Let me dive a lot deeper into this area because I see a breaker block set up also. go down to the 10-minute. Okay, so now we can look around this area. Possibly, it looks to me it's been mitigated. Anyway, my main goal is running down this area, right? Let's see if we can find a sell, sorry, around this area. And then I'll finish up VK 100. It's looking quite interesting, sorry guys. I may be waiting a lot of time on this one, but it might be worth it. once the once the marketplace of breaker block, the FE candle that is sitting below or above it, is that still active? It won't be active. The next time price come below the institutional the breaker block is just going to run that. It's just going to run through the FE candle. It's one setup or the other. You can't have both of them. If they do both of them, they're just building up liquidity and they'll take you out in the next minute without. You see, that is when you see price slightly consolidation wise going up, and then all of a sudden you see one big candlestick comes out and then boom, wipe you out. Go and practice all the very areas where price have done that, reacted of the FE candle and reacted of the breaker block. That price action will never be able to go up. It will only go up a little bit and then come back down again and wipe you out. I'll leave that work to you. You go and do that and come and tell me your results. Okay, so run it nicely around this region. So we could possibly see price come back into this very low. Anywhere around this region and then continue to sell. Inside that region, you want to see the sell module run up and then drop. If you don't see this, don't sell it. If you see a sharp movement up here, don't sell it. It has to be some sort of this way. Then you can sell it all the way down into this region. And then from here, we can look back to the upside. If you want to take a screenshot, you can go ahead. I am done with 800. Can I move on to the next pair? Okay, so the next pair is USD CHF. So based on the price action we have on the dollar currency at the minute, USD CHF is going to do exactly the same thing. This was the liquidity we had sitting down here. That has been done and dusted. And all that means is that we're just going to have a rally up, a little rally up like that, for all the people selling support and resistance to think they are in profit. And whenever we see our next sell module, we're going to keep selling again. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to be buying USD chef based on the structure that we have on the dollar currency. Remember USD chef, what we did last week, we broke market structure around this region. All right, nicely melted down. Exactly the shape we have around here. This is support, right? This is support. We came down, gave them a little bit of reaction, made them happy, and then we run down nicely. It's the same story around this region. We're going to give them a little bit of bullish reaction and then run down nicely. So based on, let's see, 15 minutes price action. You can clearly see we run liquidity around this region. And don't be surprised if it's a session high. And these are last sell before the break of market structure. Sorry, buy before the break of market structure. We could see price run up into that region. Right there inside our optimum trader entry area, the 50%, anywhere above this region, we can see this module play out. As price approaches here, nice consolidation with a bit of divergence running up and a nice drop. This is shape we want to see. And then majorly, I want to see continuous downwards nicely. Possibly before this rally go up, I want to see price come down, run this low. That is a weekly low. Run it just like I said on the dollar currency. Give us a buy module, run up here, and then give us a weekly reversal nicely to the downside. Are we good on USD chef, guys? And also, I've been talking through all the pairs. If there is anybody on the call at all, you've marked up a chart and you want to share, feel free, let me know. I'll give you the host and then you share with us. That is what we do on the weekly outlook. So it won't just be me. I know you've also got your point of perspective on the chats, and I'm not going to limit you to exactly what I'm seeing in the chat. If you've got anything on any of the pairs that people are asking for, you can raise up your hand in the group chat, and then I will give you a shout out, give you the host, and then you can run us through some of the pairs. Anybody like that? Okay, so this is perspective I see on the USD chef so far. The next pair on the list is EJ. So looking at Euro JPY, just like Euro USD, this is a very interesting pair. I am going to take my time and mark it up. It's possibly, it might be a teaching for some people also. It is a very, very interesting pair. Last week I was in a buy on this one myself, so I know why I'm saying it's a very interesting pair. So Euro JPY. Before I do this, guys, let me go on the JPY index, JXY. If you look at the JPY index, let's go on the daily time frame. I didn't do the JPY index today. There's some sort of imbalance around this region. Okay, so somebody says, I thought USD chef has done maximum retracement above 50% as well, drop liquidity for the upside. I mean, on the daily time frame. Do you want to share your point of perspective with us? If you've marked up a chart, please. All right, so I'll go back to the GBP chef. GBP chef, clearly around this area, there's some sort of imbalance around this region. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we left this gap the whole of last week and we never even approached it. That is the only area we have on the JPY at the minute. This was a clear move away showing us the bullish sign away from that area. And remember, we run liquidity on Wednesday's low. This is why I was selling GBP. I'm sorry, Euro GBP, Euro JPY. That's why I was selling it. We run that low, so I knew the perspective on Friday and Thursday was to push JPYs higher. Hence the case we saw in Euro JPY. Look at that. We run the low right here on Tuesday. Wednesday dipped down, rallied up. Thursday we came back down again, and Friday did the magic, wiped it up, and nicely we heading up. Prior to that, there was liquidity sitting up here that we took. So this was a real upset for all the buyers who was trying to do a breakout of this consolidation. Let's buy the breakout. It just went up and brought them back down, took them out, and then now we head into the upside again. We could see some sort of reaction inside this very week ahead of the week coming. Let's see the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame has a very solid 4-hour institutional candlestick, which I am just going to be taking 50% of that very area as a point of interest. Not to trade, but just to observe what happens around that area. And I repeat, not to trade, but just to observe around what happens at that very area. If you could please consider the daily time frame. Isha, what are you saying? You can unmute yourself and tell me what you're trying to say, because I couldn't get what you're trying to say properly.
Hello, Francis.
Yeah, the volume is very low. Can you
Hold up. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but then it's very, very low.
Hold up. Let me see. Okay, I'll put my volume on max.
I don't know. It's probably my side of the game. Then. Oh yeah, it's my fault.
How's it now?
Yeah, it should be about now.
Okay, all right, no worries. No, it was something that they covered on the bounce back session for JPY. They look at JPY futures because the chart's much clearer of what's going on. So that symbol that I've given, 6J1, you would able to see it through there. It was just a recommendation.
6
Yeah,
what?
no, symbol. So if you go to your symbol, yeah, 6-1. Sorry, 6J.
Yeah.
There you go. See that Japanese yen's futures.
Six JI. I can't see that. Mm-hmm.
Now go to the top. If you go to the top, can you see that Japanese yen's futures?
Oh yeah.
On that, there you go. The first one. No, if you click on it again, then go down. The first one. Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. I thought that'd be quite good for everyone to see, right?
Wow. This is a better way of looking at it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. So do they have the same for the GBP and the rest?
I'll find out the symbols and I'll send them to you, yeah?
All right, that would be great, because I like seeing it a lot clearer. It makes it a lot easier to analyze rather than seeing all the gaps, right? So the rundown around here on the Japanese yen features clearly, right, gave us that bullish momentum on Friday, and that happened. Oh, sorry. What day am I looking at? 4-hour time frame. There's a 4-hour time frame. So right down this area inside this particular wick, we could be doing a wick fill, running all this area up before we see some sort of reversal. Let's see Let's see the what you call it, the 2 hour time frame on around this area. Not much on the 2 hour, 1 hour. Based on the 1 hour time frame, I want to see price run up here quickly, and you can all see why I'm saying that. We had a clear reaction of this institutional candlestick. Break a market structure there, break a market structure there. And now we retraced, we're going up again just to run this high. So this area is a very critical area for me. I want to see price run above the zone before I see JPYs doing some sort of down movement again. Hence why Euro GBP, Euro JPY. Why am I always saying Euro GBP? Euro JPY. Yeah, I personally took this buy. I think I shared it in the group on Friday. Nice. Let me actually analyze this properly rather than just talking it. Let's go on a daily time frame. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Now, let's go back to the 15 minutes time frame. So what really happened on Friday, have I done it right? Oh, I didn't mark Friday. So this is Friday. All right. What really happened on Friday, we rallied up, came back down, wiped out the low of Thursday, broke market structure here, went up, came back down straight into the institutional candlestick. Everyday routine for the institutional markets. Everyday routine, and that's it. Clearly, we run this high. Any opportunity to buy, we're going to be taking it. I said, well, any opportunity to buy JPYs, we're going to be taking it. GBP JPY, Euro JPY, CAD JPY, NZD JPY, we will be taking the opportunities based on what the futures are telling us. Are we good? Are we good, guys? On the JPYs, thank you very much, Isha, one more time. You made it a lot clearer. I think I'm more curious now. I want to find out what the GBP is really looking like. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. Oh, there it is. Ooh, we found it. We found it. So this is the British pound features, really. Um, this is the 15 minutes. I want the daily. Well, it kind of looked like the same stuff that I told you about. But the only thing is here we run the liquidity down this low before the up move instead of the SMS we saw on the index. We run liquidity down this area once again. So institutions inside this area. Now let's see on the 4 hour time frame. Inside this area. Nice point of interest inside this area. We're still there. Let's see if we really got into 50% of this particular candle. Trying to be a lot surgical on this because yes, we did touch the 50% of that very region. Come back into this institutional candlestick. Okay, so if that be the case, I would want to see the GBP run this high. Then we come to have SMS around this region. We are going to have SMS based on the fact that we will run this high, right? And if we run that high, we have a clear inefficiency in price action within this region. Then we can come back to this institutional candlestick. This then becomes a point of interest. And from here, we can dive up. This is what I want to see. For the buy move, this is what I want to see. If we run lower right from here, if we don't break this structure and we start running lower right from here, I want to see price take this low out and come back straight into here. Exactly what we saw in the futures. And this will give us the weekly reversal. Like I said, I gave you all ideas for buyers market and sellers market as to how this week is going to look like. And this is how it's going to look like, guys. If you want to take a picture, do that quickly before I move away from here. That's giving me a clear perspective on the pound. Thank you once again, Isha. I learned something new today. Thank you. I'm so excited. I don't know about you on the call. Let's give some fires in the chat box for Isha. Let's give some fires in the chat box for him. He taught me something new. Why? People are not doing it. Are they jealous or what? Well, this might help you as well. Trust me. It might help you. If you know how to do this, it will help you a lot. I know you probably don't understand why I'm looking at the features, but they are key. They are key to the market. And if you understand how to use them, then you know where the prices of particular pair you're looking at is going to head towards. So this is what we see on the GBP. Nice and clean setup. If we head up, we want to see price react around this area, drop down, nice SMS around this region, and then rally up. If we drop down here, we wipe down this liquidity straight into this other block, and now we can fly up. Two options and nothing else. Okay, so now let's look at the next pair in the chat box. Then I think I will finish it off here. We've stayed on the call for over an hour and a half. I think an hour and 20 minutes already. EU. Another very interesting pair. So based on the analysis I did on Euro JPY is the actually let's look at the Euro index also. So the euro, based on the euro index, let's go on the daily time frame on the euro index. Last area price got manipulated. Let's see quickly, weekly. Daily inefficiency in price action. I'm gonna mark the 50% of this inefficiency in price action. As a point of interest, and then inside here, once again, we have a clean inefficiency in price action around this region. And the clean institutional candlesticks in there. So we have a point of interest one, point of interest two. I want to see price head into this area and then give us a bit of retracement. It could be some sort of correction. I really want to think like a retail trader. So for a retail trader, probably they were looking around this area as a trend line. Friday for a sell-off. Price ran all their sales and prices activated all the buy limits. Right? We've got price to activate all the buy limits. So hopefully we can see some sort of price action around this region to give us a little bit of a retracement. So Euro is definitely looking bullish, just like I said, based on the analysis I did on the other one. And once again, the same stuff I saw on the EJ. We run the liquidity up here. I can't use replay mode on here. But yeah, we run the liquidity down here and we rallied up just like we saw on EJ. So the same stuff. Point of interest is going to be inside around that area. Let's continue buying Euro USD. Any opportunity to buy, let's take it. A bit of consolidation, we buy. A bit of consolidation, we buy. A bit of consolidation, we buy. We always want to play out. Look what happened. Run liquidity down here. What's down here? A breaker block setup. So inside this region, possibly. Any rundown or sell opportunity that we're not going to take the sells. Let's try and focus on taking the buys instead. Yeah, until we've arrived into the very area that I just spoke about. So now back down to Euro USD. Same structure. I'm not even going to delay. This is a point of interest on Euro USD. That makes my life so easy. Possibly consolidation around this area, run the high, and then we sell off, right? Run the high, sell off, and then continue to the upside. That's what I want to see on Euro USD. Remember, we still have the last buy quite deeply up here, right? So we can have this as our first. Let's go on a 10 minutes time frame. This area could be our first point of interest. And this area could be a second point of interest. Let's put some numbers to it. So that you know what you're looking at. I'm currently on a buy trade on GBP USD from that POI. Should I try to exit the trade with a hope that price will come to take out weekly low? No, if you're in a trade, stay in it. Except you don't have stop loss. If you don't have stop loss in place, then yeah, I'd say close the trade because you don't know why you entered the trade in the first place, right? So if you are in a trade and you already have stop loss in place, then leave it. I know you're using proper risk management, except you're not using proper risk management. There's nothing to be scared of. It's probably only going to be 0.5% or 1% of your account going. Except that, you have nothing to lose. Stay in it and see what happens. Okay, so that's my perspective on Euro USD. Let's have a look on the last one. What on last pair? GU. Okay, GU is the last one. I think I've done GBP USD, haven't I? I've done GBP already. I have all the layout mapped out. So GU is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So based on what we've done so far, we have a lot of pairs to look out for ahead of next week. Oh, USD card. Okay. Let's do USD card. I have time, that's why I'm gonna do it. I am gonna run through USD card quickly. A USD card is a beauty. What do I want to do on the daily time frame? On the daily time frame, what we had on USD cards was a quick run of liquidity, which is giving us a clear perspective of what USD card wants to do. Quickly run down, a reaction of the 4-hour candle nicely around here, and then it dropped down again. So on the daily, now the 4-hour. And as you can see, everything around here is just a trick. Why do I say it's just a trick? Anybody has an idea? In the chat box, anybody has an idea? No worries, it's recorded. You can have it anyway. The reason why I'm saying this is really a trick is based on the fact that head and shoulders, retail traders, head and shoulders, retail trader, head and shoulder, retail trader, everywhere here, if price come back down, they're looking at, okay, if I get taken out here, I can take my stop loss here, I can take my stop loss there, I can take my stop loss. No, I can't take my stop loss here, so it has to be up there. So don't be surprised that even though with the perspective of dollar currency looking a little bit bearish, we can see USD card run this low for liquidity very quickly. We can run this low very quickly and rush up here. This was Friday's high, I think. Is it? Yeah, Friday's high. No, that wasn't. That was the week. No, 22nd was one. I think on Wednesday or Thursday, one of it. You can run this very high. Probably 50% of this very area is a very good price to look at. The next region, you don't have to be told the institutional candle. We have this point of interest, that point of interest. Any rally up, we're gonna continue selling USD cards. Don't ever try buying from here. Why is that? The main trend is pretty much bearish. This is the strong high, and this is a strong low currently. And this is the manipulation. We've manipulated bearish orders, right? So now we're gonna head for this one. Any sell opportunity we get from here, our final target is this one, right? Let me go a little bit lower to see what's happening. Go to next time frame. So the same news candle. So inside this, there's lots of orders around this region. I think I can use my favorite indicator here. Struggling to get it. So if you look around this area, we have some buyers, we have sellers, we have buyers, we have sellers. This area, no buyers at all. We have sellers, buyers, no buyers at all. Hence why price came back into that very area and dropped. If you really want to identify a solid imbalance to play off, this is what you use. One trick I'm teaching you here on the call today. One trick. I don't know. This is for only paid accounts. So if you don't have paid trading view, we can't use this. If you're on a call and you have access to paid trading view, then this is how you can refine your imbalances. Clearly, if I look, let's see if I can dive a little bit deeper into this. If you look at the style, value area up, that is blue, value area down is yellow. So for the buyers and the sellers, clearly up there, you can change it to whatever color you want. You can clearly see, I think you can put the numbers on as well. So look at this area clearly. The volume was very low around this area for even the buyers and the sellers, right? No trading business around this region. Here, almost no trading business around this region as well. So this is a very, very critical area. Actually, let me extend this box a little bit down to everywhere I'm seeing the 45. Yes, so everywhere from here, we could get price giving us a possible retracement. So guys, one more trick I showed you on this call today. And all we're looking out for is a rundown of liquidity. You can see around this area, we have a nice divergence already forming. If we run this liquidity, all we need is a break above, and then we can buy up straight into this area. If we get this sell, once again, our perspective is straight towards this region. We're coming for this area. Are we happy with the USD card so far? Okay, so somebody is asking, in one of your videos, you said when market break structure and correct pullback less than 50%, that becomes a liquidity pool because the market will eventually make the retracement pullback. Yes, then continue its move. Hence the reason for my request to check the daily time frame on USD Chef. Okay, so you want me to go back on USD Chef and have a look at what you're trying to say. No worries. Okay, so daily time frame. On daily time frame on USD CHF, you run this high, and the main point is that very high a true high? Let's see. No, it's not. So this in itself is a liquidity pool, just like you're saying, right? This area in itself is a liquidity pool. Therefore, making this particular stretch right here to here, the actual move on the daily time frame. So here is the break of market structure. Here is a liquidity pool. This is a correction, right? Now, if we move this from here to there, now we got price into the optimum trade entry, 50% and above. We can look for sales now. And you're saying, because we broke this structure does not give you the right to buy now. Based on this particular structure, you asked me to look at the daily time frame, so I'm looking at it based on daily time frame structure. Based on the daily time frame structure, this is just a correction, is a liquidity pool. Price ran it over, and nicely, price has given us a pretty beautiful sell model on a daily time frame. I wasn't even going to look at it. Thank you. Now we have a break market structure down here, right? After we run this high, we broke market structure. We haven't had any retracement. So on USD Chef, the clearest area where we could possibly, based on the, actually, let me look at the weekly. In the weekly time frame, probably anywhere we could have a retracement is inside this region. There's a hidden demand area. If you don't know what hidden demand is, don't worry. You're not supposed to know anyway. It don't matter. It won't add anything to your trading. So this particular region we can look at for probably some sort of reaction. Break, retest the same region. Break, retest that price area is what we're looking at. So we could see USD Chef dive down into here, give us a little bit of retracement and continue side down. Hence why I said on USD Chef, we're going to be looking around this area for the sell continuation. Does that make sense to you now? Who is it? Williams. Has it finally sorted out the problem for you? Okay, very clear now. Thank you. And that's us done for today. I don't know if anybody wants to share anything before we finish this session. And if you took the screenshots, please, can you share in the group chat for the rest of the people that could not attend this session? At least this may help somebody make some good money ahead of the week. So please feel free to share in the groups and let's have fun. Anybody has a question at all before I finish off? Oh, you're welcome so much, April. Well, guys, April is my manager, really, my mentor manager. So much respect for you, April. I don't know if you have anything to say before we finish off today. Feel free to unmute yourself and share with us whatever you have before we finish, and then that would be it.
Only advice is for everyone to have a beautiful week, practice risk management, set your call levels, have a look at the charts. Let's go out there and make some money.
Thank you so much, April. All right, guys, have a good week and catch you all inside the group chats. Enjoy your week and have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.
I love you, God.
Who's that?